Hey, the Cox, thanks for joining us on Around the Home. Okay, so my friend's Zach house right now, and we got a shower behind me, and it's dripping a lot. So we'll come over here to see about rebuilding it. This is a video, a series, and we keep adding to of helping you guys do more DIY projects to save you guys some money. Because whatever we're doing here probably would have cost Zach at least $300 in a service charge for the plumbing company. And not saying that they don't have a justification and overhead to cover that cost, but things are tight now. Let's save some money. Let's jump in here and see what's going on. Okay, so we can see here we got a three-handle faucet. They're probably a multi-turn. We've got a diverter in the middle. That's what the third one's for. Because some of you are like, hey, where's the little thing right here? Well, some faucets, this actually turns one way or the other, and it either goes down or out. Got a nice shower head set up here, but it is dripping a lot. Just staring every couple of seconds, it just starts dripping. So we're going to see about fixing that, make these things turn a lot easier and stop the drip. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I want to give it a good feel and see how stiff these are and how many times they turn around so I can kind of guess what's in here. Little rain shower thing. Okay, so we have, yeah, it comes out a couple turns. So this is probably an old school, and I can kind of feel it pressed against what feels like a rubber washer there. So it's probably an old school brass stem with a rubber washer on the end, which is making that seal, and that washer is probably shot. Okay. So now that we've taken a guess at what's probably in here, still don't know what's in here, and we look to see what kind of brand is. It doesn't say it on there, and I know an old guy used to tell me, in a store I used to work at, that plumbing companies don't put their name on their products because they're just not proud of them. So we gotta shut off the water of the whole house, okay? And it may be an inconvenience to people, but you gotta make sure everyone's gone to the bathroom, make sure your wife's not in the middle of the shower. All right, so we're gonna go find a way to shut off the whole house. And I got another video on that to help you guys how to figure out where to find that pop up. It'll be in the description down below as well.
So luckily my shutoff's located at my water softener. Otherwise, I'd either have to look and see if down in the crawl there's a shutoff, or I might possibly have to go out to the street and do the main shutoff.
Okay, so we're testing the water there at the faucet. Hopefully the pressure is going out. Okay, everything's looking pretty good. Got the hot and cold there. It's just dribbling out. So we're going to start to take these apart and see what we have. Most of these plastic caps can get a little brittle, but if you get a very small flat screwdriver in there, you should be able to pop them out. The handle came off really smooth. That's nice. If you can't get it off, there are pullers, and I'll talk about that later, that you can use to yank that off. All right, and this one here just has a plastic ring in there, and most of the time that's what they are. They can have a little Allen set screw, but that's not real common on that. This here normally unscrews, which, there we go. These threads are pretty clean. That's nice. The stem in there, we're going to try to take the whole thing out of there. Won't fit through that.
I can go try to find my other ones. I've got some.
It won't fit in.
I've got some different ones.
The little hole there through the center is stopping the stem.
Yeah, let me go see what else I got.
Okay, while Zach's out there looking for one of the sockets or something to stick in there, here is my handle puller. Okay, almost looks like something from Tron, right? Oh. It does. All right, so it's pretty simple how we do it. So we're going to pretend that handle was stuck on there. Okay, so this center part goes where the screw was. The screw has to come out, so this will go in where the screw is. These sides go around the handle. Okay, and then as you screw the end out, it will pull the handle off by pushing through the center there. Okay, kind of neat tool. All right, Zach's got a few other things, some options. And I actually have a double-sided little socket wrench thing here too. Of course, mine is too big. Oh,
nice.
Okay.
First try.
All right, so we've got a 20 millimeter, which worked really nice. But what really made the difference was having the 1/2-inch drive hole here instead of the 3/8, because the stem wouldn't fit through. And actually, that's not going to work. because these stems are so long that when you get it on there, it's already sticking out. Do you have? Okay, you don't mind if I don't want to scratch it. Okay.
I don't care if you muck it up.
All right. And actually, before I go do that any further, since these are so far in the wall, if they were out close to the wall, when I pull these out, some water's going to be in there. It's going to dribble out. This is going to end up dribbling in the wall here. So we're going to go outside, or send Zach outside to turn on a water spigot. Because we want a faucet that's lower in height than this one here, so the water will drain out of these pipes that are in the wall and go down when he releases that. That's, and right now the sink faucet over here is the same height as the shower faucet, so that won't help. We need a faucet if you have a lower floor in your house. This is all single layer here, but if you had a lower floor, you could do the faucet downstairs if you're working upstairs. Small trick. Can you hear that? I can hear that. It's gurgling. He's got that faucet open, and since this is open, and so you need to make sure that these are turned open a little bit so that it doesn't create a vacuum lock.
Okay, and that faucet outside's draining.
Cool. And like I was just saying to the people at home there, you're going to want to make sure these are open a little bit so it's not just got a vacuum lock, so it'll actually drain out of this wall here. And if you're like, well, wait a second, but my faucet outside is like cold, it's not hot. But since a regular residential home is all tied together, the hot water is linked in with the loop of the cold, that they will pull through.
Oh, okay.
So you will eventually kind of start pulling water out of your hot water heater. So actually, we want to go ahead and turn that faucet back off so we won't let too much water out. But that should be enough to be drained just out of the wall. Okay, we should be good to go ahead and finish removing the stems now. All right, now the stem, being this far in, there should be kind of a fabric washer where the stem actually goes into the faucet. So when I pull it out, I'm going to be careful to not aim it down and let it drop into the wall, because we're trying to rebuild these stems, not buy new ones. The new ones would come with new washer. Yep. This one actually has an O-ring on it right there. Some of them are fabric washer that could drop out. This is the worn flat washer that I was talking about. And actually, Zach, do you got a little flashlight?
Yeah.
Let's try to look. All right, well, I was telling Zach the other day, so this rubber washer, when it goes inside the faucet, sits on what's called a seat. Okay, it's basically just like a ring there with a ridge, and that ridge can get pitted. And if it's pitted, then even a new washer won't fix it. Excellent. So you want to try to shine a light in there. Okay, so we're going to take a closer look at this ring here. There is a tool that you can put in there on a drill that actually can grind that down if it's not too bad, leaving it in the faucet itself. Most of them are replaceable, and you use wrenches like these, okay? I mentioned that to you before the day, Zach. So one side's 4-sided, and the other one's 5-sided. And this one here is kind of tapered, so it gets different sizes. And then this version of the wrench, instead of being tapered, has notches for the different sizes, and a 4 and a 5-sided. Which one's asked which one works better? I don't know. I just went got both of them because they both work good, and I don't know if one works better specifically. That starts too big. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is what the seat looks like. We definitely have some chips on it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So that's going to cause a problem even with a new washer, because it's going to tear the new washer and obviously not seat real smooth. Now this stem is a pretty clean looking stem. I don't see a reason why we can't rebuild it. Let's see what we got for parts and stuff. So let's see what size washers we got here. So most of the time, that's just a Phillips screw right there. It's holding that end washer. There's a flat washers and a bevel washer. Bevel washers obviously just have a bevel to it, and they're a lot of times interchangeable. If you have a problem with a seat and you can't get it out or can't get it cleaned up, but it's not too bad, the bevel washer sometimes can actually sit on the inside of it a little bit and still make a good seal. I have a little sandpaper here. Specifically, this is emery cloth. I'm going to put this on a very flat surface and see if I can just, since this is brass and it's a softer metal, see if I can't clean it up like this, since I don't have a specific tool for that. You can go down to your local plumbing supply store that sells a lot of stems and parts like that and take the stem down to them. Then they can match up that stem and figure out which brand this was and get the matching seats and everything for you. But if we're trying to avoid that, let's see what we can do. Just try here. Well, one thing's for sure, when you start sanding on it, you can see the grooves in it a lot stronger. And we'll see if I can't sand past those. Now that, I think, will work real nicely. We can just put the old one back in place and then check the other side. Any luck?
I was able to get it unscrewed.
Okay, perfect. Look, Zach's got it out, which is good. That screw is trying to strip, and that rubber washer is just shot completely. It's torn, ripped. And then you got these little kits that have like universal sizes of washers at Lowe's and Amazon. I'll have some links in the description down below for all the stuff we're using. All right, there's a flat washer. Okay, there's a beveled washer. You can see beveled washer is much thicker. Sometimes it's too thick to properly work in a faucet. Most of the time, the beveled washer works nicer. When you're looking for the size, and the sizes of the washers are weird. They're like 0, 00, this and that. You just want it to fit inside here. There's a little rim, and you want it to fit basically snug inside, not where you have to cram it in there, not where it wiggles. So if it wiggles, it's obviously off, but it should drop in pretty snug. Okay, so we're going to go to Lowe's and get a fresh kit here. Got some more sizes available. Show you something else in here. This right here is called a packing nut. There'll be packing material here, and it's what keeps the water from leaking and dripping down the stem here. So we're going to take a look at that before we go out and see if there's anything there we need as well. All right, now it may be hard for you guys to see in the camera, but this is a black rubber, okay? And doesn't look like there'll be any tears in it like whatnot. That's going to be a very specific stem part, not something we just easily throw in there. Now, if it's type of fabric type washer, you can buy some ones that you can kind of like trim down. But thankfully, everything looks there fine. So we put this back together. You don't want to cram it tight. You just kind of want to snug it up. Actually, we're going to leave it a little loose at the moment, because then I'm going to also show you when you go to close the shower and turn it off, you're screwing it out. So obviously that's coming out. You got these threads right here, along with that rubber washer that's right here. So we'll push that out like that. So when we get ready to put this back together, we're going to grease these threads here, and then right here where the rubber washer is, and it's going to make it turn a lot smoother. Will feel like better than brand new, actually. So anyways, store run. Okay, here we are. Got the old stem. We just went to Lowe's, got some parts. Found out they had the exact same match there, which is pretty cool. And when you got to match up the stems, they really need to be exact, or it's not the right stem. But the nice part is, so you can see that the little seat is rolling around in there, so it has a brand new seat in there with it too. Lowe's doesn't have that many to pick from, but every once in a while you luck out. So we're still going to rebuild these stems, because this was like $17, which isn't bad. But for flat washers, this was like $3, and there's like 10 in there or more. And then we went and got some O-rings, which should fit right here where it seals, into the faucet. And so we're still going to rebuild the old ones for a lot cheaper, but even replacing them is not bad. Okay, so here's the new flat washer. And like I said before, it should fit nice and snug in there, but not crazy there, too. And we're just going to get the screw. And it never hurts. I like to put a little bit of thread lock back on these so they don't like accidentally unscrew themselves. All right, so I'm just taking the blue thread lock here. It is removable. A little dab at the end of it. Okay, let me put this back in and tighten it up. You don't go crazy. It needs to be, nice and snug. But actually, I think this screw has actually got like a little another. This one here actually had a flat side on it too, which even though I prefer Phillips, but the Phillips strips out easier. So the screw, well, you can see there, is inset into the rubber a little bit. If you go hard on it, that's just going to actually push all the way through. So just nice and snug. Now, when I talked about earlier, we're going to do a few things to the stem. And I left this nut loose. I didn't really talk about that. If that pack of material was like so shot, you can buy this little string. It's like Teflon tape, but in a small rope or a string. And you could take some of that and run it around the stem, and then put the nut back in. And obviously, you really can't put a lot in there. But if you kind of put 2 loops in there, cut off the excess, tighten it up, then that should tighten up against the stem and keep it from dripping right here. Otherwise, you're just going to have to buy a whole new stem kit. So we're going to get some grease, which I've got some silicone grease and then just some plumber's grease. The silicone one is clear. This one here is a little bit kind of a yellowish tint to it. And I kind of like the plumber's grease a little better. What we're going to do decent little coating right there on the threads. And this doesn't hurt to even do to the new one. The new one's not really got much for grease on it. And then we're going to coat this area here too, where it goes against the packing material. Lube that up real nice. Get there nice and deep like, boy. And we're going to put it back in, and it's already turning a whole lot better. Okay. And then when you put it back in, obviously you don't want to stick it out like that, because when you start to screw it in, this is going to hit that seat and stop you short. So you want to make sure she's, opened up there. Not so this is like off. This would be like open. So you want it tucked in as tight as it can. Now the seat's already in there. Oh wait, we went to a new O-ring, didn't we?
Yep. Plus, we need to tighten down the.
Oh, back in it. So that caught me there. It's always good to have another person there sometimes. You get ahead of yourself. So we're going to very carefully. Now, if you have a little pick or something like that, that's even better. Very carefully take the old O-ring off and a new O-ring on. And then we got to snug up the packet on a little bit. So new O-ring on. And then, which sometimes you might have to do after you put this in and turn the water on, to find the right spot there. Because you want it snug enough where it stops dripping. But if you snug on too hard, that just makes it really, first of all, you're putting too much pressure on the packing material and you're going to prematurely ruin it. And then also just makes it really hard to turn. I've done it enough times I can kind of do it by feel. So that should be good there. Just, again, this is a snug thing. Somebody's going to like, well, do you ever make anything tight? Yeah. We'll put this back in, we'll make that tight, but not crazy tight. We're not roiding out here. But this is going to be tight when we put that on. And while we're at it, just so it threads on nice. And I know the old threads have a little bit of corrosion on them. Add a little bit of grease to the threads there. Okay, and now I'm going to let Zach do the other one. Okay, now it's Zach's turn. We're going to see how someone who has never done this before does this, and anything that hopefully Zach has a problem with is something that you guys have a problem with, and I can guide you guys through that.
Cool. So the first thing we're doing is loosening it off, which I think you already broke it off, so it'll. Then we're going to take that flat washer off. Try not to lose that screw. Okay. So then do I need to take it apart again and grease up that packing? Or loosen this?
You don't need to loosen the packing nut, but just screw it out so that it comes out. Sometimes just grab like one of the handles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I couldn't do that with just my hands.
You have electrician hands, not plumber hands.
Wow. You're gonna bring that into this?
I just did.
It's rude. Okay. Get some of that grease. And you said to do it on some of the shaft here too, right?
Yeah, because that's where it rubs against that packing washer.
Okay.
It just helps it to turn smoother.
Gotcha.
Less wear on the washer. You got it, man.
Cool, cool. So we want to seat it back for when we put it back in, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Make it as small as possible. It's very cold today. It's kind of shrunken.
Replacing that O-ring. And we do the flat washer. These flat washers, it doesn't matter which way, right?
Does not matter.
Okay. As long as it's sitting flat.
Yep.
Okay. Take the screw and then we put the thread lock on it, right?
Just a little dab.
Just a little dab.
A little dab will do you.
You don't want to use red for this?
Well, I mean, next time you'll be replacing the whole stem, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
You find them okay. I'm still surprised we find them so easy at Lowe's. Must be a common builder's faucet there.
Then we want to do this just snug, right?
Yep. It's going to tuck into that, washer a little bit, but not too much.
Okay, so kind of like that.
Yep, that's looking pretty good.
Cool. And then just grease the threads that are going to go in back into the shower.
Yep.
And then do I need to check that? What was it called again?
Seat?
The seat. Do I need to check that too?
Well, since the first one was pitted, we should probably assume that the other one is going to be as well.
Okay.
Now, if one isn't pitted, that doesn't mean the other one isn't. So, yeah, check all of them, but yeah, go ahead and yank that one out.
Okay.
So, and actually, I had to use the tapered one because those didn't have a small enough notch. So you need the tapered one, Zach.
Yeah.
I think it was 5-sided. Was it the 5-sided?
I don't remember.
Here, you can look at the package there and see what that is.
It is not the 5-sided. It's the 4.
Oh, okay.
Where's that flashlight? Seems like it's just kind of stripping it almost.
Like it's stuck in there.
Yeah. Definitely not that one. Yeah, it's just stripping it. Might need you to get your eyes on it.
All right, let me give it a see if I can do any. Is that flashlight?
Try and get it to sit flat in there. Nice.
Didn't want to strip anymore. So the brass is softer than this wrench, so I needed to punch in a little bit harder.
So I guess what I didn't do was I didn't make sure it was pushed in all the way.
Maybe this one was stuck in there pretty good too, but yeah, once it starts to slip, you gotta be real careful.
Gotcha.
Wait, what am I doing? This is your job. You need to do it. You need to learn how.
Oh, I was just gonna watch.
Yeah. It's always good to have a safety net, but it's time you go back in.
Yeah.
You feel any pitting?
Not too bad. I don't really feel any.
But you give it a light sanding and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Once it cleans up a little bit, you'll see if there's any pits in there right quick. Put that on a real flat surface, not on against your finger. No, the sandpaper.
Oh, okay.
Put that down on the flat.
And use that.
Because if you have it curled up, it will not sand flat.
Yeah, it did have a little pitting on it. And you can see right there where it needs to be sanded just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And now it's a lot better.
Yeah, the first one was obviously worse, but
Mm-hmm.
it's good to get them all nice and cleaned up.
Putting some grease on it. Make it a little easier going in.
Yeah, I think that one needs a little bit.
Maybe I won't have to do this for a while.
Hopefully this will be good for 10 years.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, or close to it anyways.
That'd be nice. Heck, a lot cheaper than trying to replace it all too, with especially price wise.
Don't drop it in the hole.
Yeah, that would suck. Then my whole saving money speech would have been down the hole, literally.
Yeah, but we got replacements just in case. That's awesome.
Yeah. How tight should I go on this? Not crazy tight.
Yeah. Let's not slip out that brass anymore.
Okay.
Just give it a good.
Give it a good little tug.
Yep.
Now we're ready to put this guy back in. Use that socket. Then do I need to crank them again?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
These just need to go good and tight. There's an O-ring there sealing. It's not like you're trying to like put together galvanized nipples or something like that where the threads,
Okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
And then the diverter rebuilds in the same fashion. It's just going to be a little bit different length than the regular stems.
Oh, okay.
So you can do it, or if it diverts just fine, you can skip that part and just do the vein hot and cold.
Yeah, we haven't been having any issues.
The other one you're doing is just a shower, so it doesn't even have the diverter stem. But diverter stems will be just a little bit different length, but other than that, they're identical, really.
And then Nathan recommended greasing these covers as well that screw back into the faucet base.
Easier to put on, easier to take off later.
Probably test it now.
Actually, go ahead and leave that one off and test it now.
Okay, so that way we can see behind them.
Yeah, make sure that O-ring's doing its job.
I'm going to take the other one back off because I didn't do it too tight.
That's a good idea. Let's do a leak test before we go any further. So go ahead and get a handle and turn those two off.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll probably be wide open.
Otherwise, that shower will come on.
Yeah. They should be turning a lot nicer than they were before.
Oh, yeah, a lot smoother. That one's shut already. So was that one.
Now, when you turn things back on, it's always nice to have a second person watching it in case something blows off incorrectly. And then you can yell at the person, turn it back off!
Are we good? Do I need to turn it back off?
We're looking pretty good.
Okay.
We can let some air out of the faucet. Good. Go ahead and you squeeze by me and then get that flashlight in there and see if there's anything dripping.
I don't see anything dripping.
Okay, excellent. Now, maybe change the diverter so it's to the tub.
Okay.
And then test we'll test the packing nuts now.
Okay.
So turn those stems on a little bit and see if it's dripping around the faucet.
I don't see any on that side.
Get that air out of there.
Not seeing any on that side.
Okay. We had a little drip that we just tightened the nut a little bit. Until it stops dripping. Other than that, it's time to put the trim back together.
Cool.
We're looking really good. Looking good.
Looking good.
It's good.
It's all good in the hood. These ones I can just do hand tight, right?
Oh yeah. They're just trim pieces.
Thank you.
The other handle's over there by you somewhere.
Yeah. Over here. Then our caps and screws are down here.
Guess what, Zach? You just rebuilt your shower for dollars. For a couple dollars. Now that's a step-by-step, whether completely rebuild with just washers or, you can put brand new stems in. But we took this faucet, which would have been easily a $300 charge from a plumber for just rebuilding it, not talking about replacement. And now she's working like brand new. Turns really smooth, shuts off all the way. Thanks so much for watching. Please take your time to subscribe. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
You guys have a great one.